The Powerpuff Girls is more disturbing than you remember, and it honestly caught me off guard. Now, I've talked about shows such as The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, as well as Courage the Cowardly Dog here on the channel, but these shows are known for being creepy, disturbing, and downright horrifying. But the Powerpuff Girls is not a show I have ever associated with being disturbing, even though a specific villain haunts my dreams. So today, we're going to be diving into some of the most dark and disturbing episodes of the Powerpuff Girls, and like an iceberg video, these episodes are going to get progressively more disturbing and dark as we go down the list. So let's start with the episode that introduced us to the most horrifying villain in the Powerpuff Girls universe. The episode Octi Evil opens up with the city of Townsville being attacked by a three-headed dragon, which the girls take down with ease. The narrator then informs us that the girls are being watched.
But what's this? It appears our girls are secretly being monitored. But by who? Oh no, not... I can't say it!
This villain is so sinister, so evil, that they are only referred to using his pronouns. Him is the villain that was ahead of his time, and he is downright terrifying. From the second he starts speaking, it just sends a chill down your spine. The echo, the mannerisms, the way he delivers his lines is just pure, unadulterated nightmare fuel. So after learning the dragon belongs to him, we cut back to the girls accidentally destroying a building, which causes an argument between Buttercup and Blossom. Bubbles says she hates to see her sisters fight, and him instantly rewinds her saying this multiple times in a row, over and over and over again, and latches right on to her sadness.
I hate it when you guys fight. I hate it when you guys fight.
Yes!
The girls continue to fight through the night as Bubbles is in tears. That is, until a creepy voice calls out to her. Him is controlling a stuffed octopus named Octi from his living room while watching Bubbles through his TV, which on its own is pretty creepy. You can tell in this moment that him just lives for emotional manipulation, which just makes him that much more terrifying. He plants a seed of doubt in Bubbles' mind, and she goes to sleep. The next day, the girls are called to fight some giant, jacked up Bowser looking monster. Yet again, another incredible monster design, by the way. But this time, Bubbles brought Octi to the fight, who manipulates her into not helping her sisters, but also manipulates her into convincing Buttercup to disregard Blossom's direction as captain. The conflict results in an old woman being hurt, and another fight breaks out between Blossom and Buttercup, but this time it escalates to a physical altercation. I mean, they start attacking with eye lasers and everything. Now with Blossom and Buttercup fighting, him starts flying around his house like a madman in pure excitement, knowing that he can now destroy Townsville with the Powerpuff Girls distracted and fighting one another. As Bubbles is pleading with Octi for help, the room turns a creepy red aura, which is common when him is around, as Octi mocks her, calls her a stupid little girl, and blames the fighting on her as he grows to a gigantic size. Bubbles finally puts two and two together, but it's too late, and him busts his way out of the room to destroy the world. So now it's up to an emotionally distraught Bubbles to take on him herself. The giant Octi is rampaging in the city, throwing cars, smashing buildings, just absolutely wreaking havoc on the city. There's no way he didn't kill at least a few people in this rampage. Bubbles tries to intervene, but he grabs her and starts to crush her as she screams out a cry. Blossom and Buttercup hear her screams and spring into action to save their sister. When they arrive, their eyes meet and you can tell they hesitate before breaking out of him's manipulation, smile at one another, and save Bubbles, which causes Octi to burst into flames and explode. The explosion destroyed the entire top of the building Octi was on top of, but we see him on fire, floating above the destroyed building, as he burns away into nothingness. So the day has been saved, but one thing is clear. Him didn't even attempt to fight back against the girls because he prefers emotional manipulation, and he will be back. In this next episode, Tough Love, we see the girls flying around and helping everyone around Townsville, from saving a cat in a tree to helping the mayor open a jar of pickles. And we can tell, not only does Townsville love the Powerpuff Girls, but they love the people of Townsville as well. Unfortunately, him doesn't feel the same way. In fact, he hates them. He despises them. He feels so much malice towards these girls that he goes on over a full minute-long rant about his hatred of them while in the bath. That is about 10% of this episode, just as a heads up for context. He concocts a plan to destroy them once and for all while talking to his rubber duck. I mean, who doesn't plot world domination to the rubber duck in the bath, am I right? Now, as I stated at the start of this video, these episodes will progressively get darker, and even though that last episode was creepy, we didn't really get to see much of Him's power. So in this episode, we finally get a taste of what Him's true power is. He splits the moon in two and manipulates the clouds to manifest himself in the sky over the city of Townsville. While in the sky, he's able to create a toxic gas just by rotating his claw in the sky to manipulate the clouds. He does this with ease. The gas then completely engulfs Townsville, and you know things are going to be bad. The next day, the girls start to notice something strange. The cat they saved the day prior is now attacking them, and so is the cat's owner. So they leave and head to school, where the other students start throwing garbage at them before the teacher recommends using apples instead, since they would hurt them more. So the entire class and the teacher are bombarding the girls with apples and various other things with the intent to hurt them. The girls don't understand what's going on, but when they receive a call from the mayor, they leave in a hurry and rush to his aid. But unfortunately, this was a trap set up by the mayor. When the girls arrive, he calls what looks like a SWAT team in to take them out before he has Miss Bellum pull out a gun to shoot the girls. Yeah, this is the direction we're taking here. So the girls flee before they're shot, and even the narrator of the show starts hurling insults at the girls, breaking the fourth wall. So they head back home to check on the professor to see if he knows what might be going on, but he just starts shouting at them and turns in pure anger. He has pure rage on his face, and it's honestly horrifying. But it's not just the anger we see on his face, but the tone of his voice. It's just a little too real, especially for anyone who may have had an abusive parent growing up. And if you've dealt with this, I'm sure you know what I mean. The girls fly to the door to find the town and the professor with bright red demonic eyes with the desire to destroy them. It's almost as if they hate you.
Yeah, hate us. Who said that?
So Him finally reveals himself and mocks the girls as he licks the professor just to taunt them some more. From here, the people of Townsville just start beating the girls. The girls get punched, kicked, scratched before Buttercup finally snaps and punches them off of her. She points out that their loved ones would never do this. They would never hurt them, which means they must all just be pawns in his evil scheme, which makes the girls feel like they can finally fight back. So they just start beating the ever-loving crap out of everyone in town, including the professor. And I can only imagine how difficult it would be to just have no choice but to beat the people you care and love the most senseless as they try to kill you. The girls warn him to never do something like this again, as he boasts that he would never give repeat performances.
I'll be back.
He then flies off, and we cut to the hospital where the town is severely hurt. A bunch of them are in full body casts. Miss Bellum has a full head wrap. Even this cat is in a full body cast. It's all just so twisted. The episode Speed Demon opens up with math. No, seriously, Teach pops off. And if you're like me, you are just as lost as these kids are, so I guess I'm not smarter than a 5th grader. Class lets out, and the Powerpuff Girls are going on vacation to the Bahamas over the weekend. So the girls decide to race home in excitement, destroy some guy's car in the process, and they must have traveled over 88 miles per hour because I see a portal. Now, when the girls arrive on the other side of the portal, they don't quite notice right away, but if you look closely, you can see the windows are boarded up, which sets the tone right away. The girls start arguing a bit, which is common for the Powerpuff Girls, before Bubbles cries out to the professor and rushes to the basement. But something is wrong. This disturbing music starts playing, and we find the professor, who's old and has completely lost it. He even thinks the girls are just his mind playing tricks on him, and he scares them off. So they fly away, they make it outside, just to see that it's even worse than we thought. Everything has an eerie red tint to it and is in ruin. We even get to see how damaged their house really is, as well as the rest of the city, and it honestly looks like a nuke was dropped. The music kicks on yet again, and oh my god, the music in this episode is incredible. The girls fly into the rundown and destroyed mayor's office, where Miss Bellum is freaking out, and very reminiscent of Smeagol, claws at the mayor's hat as she shouts, "Mine, mine, mine," over and over and over again. Something is clearly wrong here, but we can't quite tell what has happened yet. Is it radiation, a bomb, something else entirely? Everyone seems to be stuck in whatever moment this attack happened, even though it's clear this is decades in the future. The girls find their teacher next, who...
I just stood there waving goodbye, and they raced off.
She's just completely in a trance, repeating this over and over and over again, and we finally learn it's been 50 years since the girls left. Then, an evil laugh echoes out in the background, and your heart just drops. Because of course, it's him. He mocks them as he emerges from flames in the sky and flies up higher. The girls go right into a frenzy and all attack him at once. They get into a battle on the ground as we see the shadow of the fight appear across the destroyed walls of Townsville, showing signs of what happened while the girls were gone. Interest rates hiked up, the girls went missing, everyone wrote off the professor as a fraud, the mayor died at the age of 83, and the best question yet, who is him? We don't know, but what we do know is he took a massive beating from the girls, and when the girls stopped beating him, drenched in sweat, he looks up with a smile and asks the girls if they're finished. It's creepy, it's disturbing, and it's just the beginning. His eyes glow green as he floats into the sky, his claws grow, his legs grow, and he transforms into this giant creature that is not only jacked, but has legs for days. Also, look at those abs. Goddamn. He continues to mock and emotionally manipulate the Powerpuff Girls, claiming he had already won, as the townspeople blamed the girls and chanted them in unison. It's disturbing, creepy, and downright twisted. I mean, the girls may have superpowers and might be superheroes, but they're still little girls at the end of the day. It's just absolutely heart-wrenching to see them like this after this emotional torture. They scream and cry until they fly out of the Earth's atmosphere and into space and fly back down to Earth so fast they open another portal and manage to make it back to their current time. They fly through the town, saying hi to everyone, hug the professor when they get home, and tell him that they can't leave Townsville for even a second. And from here, it seems they live happily ever after, but I don't think that's the case. We know from previous episodes in this video that him loves emotional manipulation. And even though the girls made it back in time and prevented this terrible future they witnessed from happening, him still won, just like he said he did. Not only did he show them what would happen if they ever left, he also showed them his true power and that they seemingly can't defeat him. So it seems in the end, him will always win.
Little girls that can fly and zip through the air? Why, that's crazy talk. Or is it?
In Powernoia, we open with a typical day in Townsville. Everyone is happy and going about their business until a giant seven-eyed monster who breathes fire attacks and sets the town ablaze. Everyone panics and chaos ensues. An old lady is trampled by a frenzied crowd, and a bus driver jumps out of the window, which sends a bus filled with people flying off a bridge and crashing to their death. And obviously the cops are useless as usual, but luckily the Powerpuff Girls show up to save the day. And this is insane, so let's break this down real quick. The girls spin rapidly, becoming drills in order to drill into the ground. They then drilled up through the ground and feet of this monster and go all the way through its body and come out the other side by blowing a hole in its head to defeat it. Absolute insanity. So they save the day as usual and head home for the night, and an argument between Bubbles and Buttercup on who's more fearful starts. Blossom says as long as they stick together they can overcome their fears. Now, she doesn't succeed in stopping the fight, but it's clear this episode is going to be focused around fear. So yeah, Bubbles is obviously on edge after that, and we see a door close on its own in the background, and then this happens.
What's this I hear? Tortured by the things you fear? Friday night, girls. Pleasant dreams. Pleasant screams.
We then enter Blossom's dream, and there's some eerie music playing, and everyone is glaring at her, while the kids answer Miss Keene in unison, which is just always disturbing. Miss Keene just starts judging Blossom's intelligence in front of the class, even talks about how report cards are the only markers of her worth as a human, before taunting her with her report card which has F's across the board. Blossom finally tries to run off, but the door is locked, and the kids in the class, Miss Keene, and even her sisters are coming towards her with glowing red eyes. We move on to Buttercup, who gets out of bed to grab a glass of water. She turns around and oh, that's a spider. That's a lot of big spiders. She tries to escape as she's surrounded by what looks like thousands of spiders, but on the other side of the door isn't her room. It's this insane looking dimension that looks like it came right out of a Tim Burton movie. She falls down towards this gigantic spider crab teeth demon combo. I don't even know what to consider this creepy thing, so let's just call it the spider demon from now on. She manages to avoid being eaten by the spider demon and starts to run as more and more spiders join in on the fight, as we cut to Bubbles waking up with a gasp. And shocker, the damn clown is gone, dude. I don't know about you, but I don't like dolls. I don't mess with dolls. No, please stop. Thank you. A ringing is happening around the room, and we see a shadow run into the bathroom and shut the door. And ring. A bear appears at the foot of the bed, just staring at Bubbles. So she tries to talk to it, and well, this happens. So all the stuffed animals and toys in the room are alive with creepy smiles and are rushing at the girls. A giant metal snake that has the ears of him comes out of the bathroom, grabs Bubbles, and starts choking the life out of her as Blossom tells her with eyes still closed that it's not real. Bubbles starts frantically opening and closing her eyes, telling herself it's not real over and over and over again, but it isn't working. They get closer and closer to her with each blink, and we cut back to Blossom's nightmare before finding out what happens. Miss Keen now has pointy ears reminiscent of him and is humiliating Blossom with a dunce hat on because it's time for a test. The questions are very basic math, but Blossom just fumbles the answers back to back. They try to kill her, but destroy the floor in the process, revealing the twisted dream dimension under the floor of the classroom. Another question is asked, and when she's wrong again, the teacher mocks her, but you can hear a faint echo of him saying it too in the background. The room splits in half, but Blossom manages to escape and climbs back into the room, where she finally figures out that none of this is real. Miss Keen and the class all turn into creepy little hymns. They ask a harder math question as they laugh at her, but Blossom gets this one right. Him gets frustrated and Blossom flees to save Buttercup from being eaten by the giant spider demon. The girls work together to knock the chasing spiders into the spider demon's mouth, and Blossom convinces her sister to fight back, and she absolutely obliterates these spiders. She blasts holes through them, cuts them in half. I mean, it is an absolute bloodbath of spider goo. But now it's time to save Bubbles, who's still trapped. The demon stuffed animals are talking about removing her insides and replacing her eyes with buttons as they cover her mouth to stop her from screaming for help. Blossom still manages to find her though and rips one of them in half to save her sister. But in order to truly be saved, Bubbles needs to realize none of this is real. Blossom gets grabbed in the process and Bubbles snaps and rips every one of these little demons in half to save her sister. There's only one problem though. They're still trapped and him has finally arrived. And you know what? I don't even know what to call this thing, so let's just play the clip.
I know your deepest, darkest fear. You are afraid you cannot defeat me!
So him is this gigantic, disgusting creature, but the girls aren't afraid anymore. Two of him's heads attack the girls, but they rip them off and take them down fairly easy. Him manages to capture Blossom with his claws, but Buttercup rips his claws off and he just takes a beating. It seems like they're winning, but as usual, him has a giant smile on his face, and the girls just beat him more and more until he's finally cowering in fear on the ground. This is a version of him we've never seen before, but they did it. They managed to take him down. Or have they? Well, I don't know about you, but I cannot believe how dark the Powerpuff Girls got, and the show has a lot of incredible and powerful themes and episodes, ranging from death to animal abuse to harmful obsessions and more. And if you'd like for me to cover those episodes in a future video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my future uploads. Also, check out this video that's right here on the screen if you want more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time I upload.